What's up, y'all? It's Celeste, and I was already planning to make a video about this topic, but when I posted my 2-week top surgery update on Facebook, I had a friend comment and ask how weird it felt to be making a topless video and putting it on YouTube. And then I had a couple other friends reply to that and say they were wondering the same thing and wondering how different the idea of modesty feels to me now than it did before I had top surgery and some other things like that. I know I mentioned in a previous video, this might have actually been the first video I made about wanting to have top surgery, but it might have been since then. I can't remember exactly, but I know I've said before that when I watched other people's top surgery videos that I was kind of fascinated by how easily they seemed to be able to be topless and just like shift their minds to like, it's okay now for me to be topless in public. And I wasn't sure if I would have the same experience because I have historically always been an extremely modest person, like almost to the point that most people would probably consider me to be a prude, especially with like the parts of my body that I show and everything. And it's not necessarily a like sexual thing. It's not necessarily that I feel sexualized, although that's definitely a component of it, but there are just certain parts of my body that I just don't feel comfortable showing, and historically my chest area has been one of them. Not just talking about like being topless, but I almost never would wear anything cut lower than like a crew neck. I almost never wore anything sleeveless. I almost never wore anything tight on top. And basically was just like extremely self-conscious about this entire area. And that's not the only area. Like I also don't like having my legs showing, but that's a totally different story. Anyway, I'm a very modest person. I live in Florida where it's very hot, but I still like typically don't wear a lot of things that most people in Florida wear because I just have not felt comfortable with that much of my body showing. And so I didn't expect at all that it would be an easy thing for me to like suddenly show my entire topless like top half without any clothes on, and like did not think that that would be a thing. Like I thought that if I ever got to that point it would have to be something that I would like work towards, and I would have to like process a lot of stuff and like I don't know, like let go of a lot of like things that I had learned about my body and stuff. And it's been really strange that it hasn't been like that at all. So there are a bunch of different factors that I think go into this whole thing, and I've been trying to kind of figure out like which ones are most relevant to me. The first one is simply that I have seen so many other people's post-op videos and pictures by this point that I've just kind of gotten like it normalized to me. Like it doesn't feel as weird to me as it did at first. Another factor, I'm trying to think of how to explain this. Okay. Obviously in our society, female chests are shameful to show in public and male chests are okay to show in public. And I'm saying female and male just because like that's how society differentiates between different types of bodies. I didn't think it made any sense to just be like, oh, well, I don't have a female chest now, so it's societally okay for me to show my chest, and so therefore I don't have any problem with it. Like, I didn't think that that would really follow, because for me, like, yes, obviously there is a big part that was always like, if I show this, then it's shameful and like the public will like look down upon me and stuff like that. But like, it wasn't like a conscious thing. It was just like, that's what I was taught to believe about myself. And so I didn't think that like suddenly it being like societally okay for me to show my chest, that would like automatically make me feel okay with it. And I don't think that's really what happened, but I guess I expected that to be more of a part of it, and I don't know, maybe that is what it's like for other people. Obviously I can only speak for myself, but that's not really how it feels. Another factor is like just the fact that I hated my chest before. Like that was a big part of it. My own dysphoria, my own discomfort with showing my body. A lot of that came from the fact that I didn't want to look at my body. I didn't want to feel my body. I didn't want to think about my body looking like that. I basically wanted to like make it all as like hidden and like tucked away as possible. And that's why I wore bras that were too small for me and like just like always wore a bra, because I never wanted to feel like I had breasts because I hated them. And like I mean, that was like long before I even had any concept of dysphoria or that I could have it or anything like that. I just have always wanted to keep everything like really tight and tucked away and secure. And now that I don't have that feeling anymore. Now, to be fair about this, I haven't really been entirely topless for very long periods of time because I have had this ace bandage on since I had the surgery. Like, I take it off to shower and do my dressings and everything like that, and obviously to make a couple of videos, but then I put it all back on. So I haven't like experienced long-term the feeling of just like walking around topless like for an extended period. But pretty much immediately, I felt okay with people seeing it, which was really weird. Like, I had my reveal, and I thought that when I had my reveal, I would look at myself and be like kind of shocked and like, I don't know, like that it would take getting used to have this body, but it really hasn't at all. Like, pretty much immediately I was like, oh yeah, that's definitely what I've always wanted to look like, and this is perfect, and I'm really happy. And it really didn't take any getting used to. I think another part of this is the context of what I'm doing, which is like a post-op update. And so I'm not just like suddenly topless with no mention of why or anything like that. And I'm not saying that like gives me an excuse or like explains it or something like that. It's more just that I've been on YouTube for pretty much exactly a year now as I'm filming this video. Yesterday was my 1-year anniversary. And I feel like I've come a long way in that time as far as what I'm comfortable sharing online, and like, I don't know, like the amount of stuff that I talk about that's like super personal on here has really like ramped up over the year. And so I guess I've just kind of established this as a somewhat safe space for me to talk about stuff. Obviously, the internet is not really a safe space because anybody can come in and troll you and say horrible things to you. And that does happen to me from time to time, but for the most part, I feel like I've gotten overwhelming support from both people that I already have in my life, like my friends and family and stuff, and also people that have found me through YouTube. And so I feel mostly like it's an okay place for me to be vulnerable. So I guess that makes it feel different than if I were to just like go out in public and just like whip my top off and just like walk around. I don't know that I would be ready for that anytime soon. I don't know, because I haven't gotten anywhere near close to trying that. For right now, the context of what I'm doing is, even though it's like on the internet, which is like literally the entire world can like look at my chest if they really want to, the like context of it and the sort of compartmentalization of it, I guess, makes it feel different than just generally being topless, especially when combined with the aspect of like it being normalized to make videos about your post-op updates and stuff like that. So it feels like there's a reason for me to be doing this that is not only for my benefit or for my comfort, but I know that what I'm doing is contributing to a community and to other people's education and like helping normalize this for cis people who are watching it, but also giving information and my experience to other people who might be considering having this type of top surgery. And so I guess like all of that just makes it feel more purposeful. A couple of the other questions that I got on Facebook from my friends were what modesty feels like to me now in comparison to what it used to. And I mean, I kind of already answered that, but I don't know, like, I guess I don't feel this overwhelming urge to cover myself here. I don't feel like there's something bad about how I look. And I want to be super clear here that I'm not saying that there is anything shameful or bad about breasts or like the female body or anything like that. I don't feel like that. It's that I did probably have internalized stuff from like our culture teaching me that, but I also I personally did not like my own chest, and so it made me very uncomfortable to have it there or think about it or let anybody else acknowledge it or see it or anything like that. So it was more about my dysphoria than my general body image stuff that like everybody with breasts is taught to think about themselves. I don't have any problem with anybody else showing cleavage or being completely topless or anything like that. Like, I'm totally fine with that. It was my personal feelings about my own chest that like I felt uncomfortable with. So I just want to be really clear about that, because I don't want it to sound like that I thought breasts were shameful and now I got rid of them and so now I don't have shame, or like I don't want anybody to think that that's why I got top surgery or anything like that. It's that I felt uncomfortable with them because I didn't ever want them, or like I just never felt like they belonged on me or that they added anything to my life or anything. So I think a lot of my shame around them was connected to that and my dysphoria, as opposed to just the sexualization or like that kind of stuff that comes from society. Hopefully I explained that properly, because I really want to be clear about that. And then the other two questions I was asked were how modest I see myself as from here on out, and also if I'm planning to swim topless, like just wear like swim trunks. I don't really know about those yet because I haven't really had any opportunity to test them. Particularly in like the real world, because I haven't really been that many different places since I had top surgery, and I'm always just wearing these like button shirts because I haven't been able to really wear anything else yet. I can't really get anything. I haven't actually tested it. Maybe now I could put something over my head, but I haven't really tested it because I don't want to raise my arms and I don't want to stretch anything. And plus, since I'm still wearing the ACE bandage until next Monday, it's just easier for me to wear these so I can get to it and like adjust things if needed and stuff like that. I just had something in my eye. Like once I get to the point where I can actually like wear all the clothes in my closet, I am gonna have like this huge like thing where I like go through everything and just try everything on, because I have wanted to do that for a long time, because I have a lot of clothes that I really like the clothes, but I just didn't feel comfortable enough wearing them because of how they felt on my body. So after that point, then I'll get a better sense of like what I feel comfortable with, like the cuts of things and like the tightness of things and stuff like that. The other thing about like, as far as like swimming and stuff, is that I, up to this point, have barely swum at all since I developed breasts, because I was so uncomfortable with myself. I could not stand to be in a bathing suit, and like even when I would wear a t-shirt over it and board shorts over it, and like I just did not feel at all comfortable in a women's bathing suit. And the last time I even tried to swim was probably over 10 years ago, and even that, like, I didn't really swim, I just like got in the pool. But I really haven't felt comfortable in a bathing suit or in any situation where I would be in the water for a very, very long time, like a long time. And so I'm so detached from the idea of even like trying to swim or like being anywhere where I would be wearing a bathing suit in front of other people, that it's not something where I felt comfortable before. So now it's suddenly something I won't feel comfortable with. Like, I think if anything, I'll feel more comfortable. What I'm sort of expecting is that I will wear board shorts, because that's like what I would feel comfortable having on the bottom, and possibly like a rash guard or something, like some kind of swim shirt or something like that. But I don't know, maybe eventually I will feel comfortable being completely topless. Maybe immediately I will the next time I ever have an opportunity to swim or something, but I really don't know, just because I'm so like, I just haven't even tried to be in swim anything in front of anybody else for so long that like I can't think of it like a progression between like how I felt swimming like last year versus like now, because like it's been so long since I've even tried to do that that I like can't even like imagine what it would feel like regardless of what I look like. So I don't know, that's kind of hard for me to answer at this point. So basically like the whole thing about like how modest I will feel in public from this point forward, I feel like there's kind of a split between like real life and the internet. And the internet, I think I'm pretty much fine with anybody seeing me topless, obviously, because I've already done that. But as far as the real world, I think it will remain to be seen because I haven't really tested it, but also I think it will probably depend on the particular situation and context and how safe I feel in the situation and things like that, because certain situations I might not feel safe, like having visible scars, or I don't know, like I'm not going to pass as male, so it's not like people will see me and think nothing of it. So I don't know, like I don't know what I'm gonna feel like at that point. I think that's gonna have to just be kind of an exploration and something I sort of figure out as I go. But as far as being on the internet, I really just don't feel like uncomfortable with it. It's really strange because I thought that I would. I thought that it would take a long time for me to like, I don't know, like I would have to push myself and like, I don't know, like I said, like process a bunch of stuff, but I really didn't. I was just like, okay, well, here it is now. Like, here's my chest. Another thing that I wanted to mention is that the sensitivity I have in this area is a lot different than it was. Partly because there's some areas that are like numb now and like haven't gotten sensation back. And then partly because things that were in certain places are no longer in those places, both because parts of them have been removed and also because things have been moved around, like the nipple grafts, because I don't know if I never really explained this, and I don't know if most people watching this really know how this works. And I'll try not to be too weird with this or like gross with this because it is kind of weird. But the way that the nipple grafts work is they cut part of your areola, like your original areola, they cut a smaller part of it because my areolas were much bigger than they are now. They cut, Dr. Garamoni does about 20 millimeters. And so they cut that and then they just like cut a little circle in your skin and just like stick it on and it grafts to the skin. So it's not in any way functional. It's not connected anymore underneath. There is no like nerve connection that there used to be. So the sensitivity that I have there is, right now I don't have a whole lot of sensitivity anyway, but eventually the sensitivity that I have there probably won't be too much different from how like the rest of my skin feels. Some people do get more sensitivity back. Some people even get like erotic sensitivity back. I don't really care if I get that. I never really liked that anyway. But like the way that it feels to have my nipples exposed now is not the same way that it used to feel. The connection that I have to my chest is different now, and I can't say I feel like detached from it or anything. If anything, like when I look at pictures of myself, it looks more right to me. It looks more natural. And when I look at pictures of my old chest, I'm like, that's really freaky. Like, how did I ever look like that? And that's really weird that that happened so fast too. But I don't know, I guess I feel kind of detached from it in a sense, to the point where it almost feels like I'm not showing my real chest in public. I don't know if that makes any sense. It's just kind of like, I don't know, it's really hard to explain, but it just feels different than how I used to feel about showing my chest to people and like being really self-conscious about it. And I'm just wondering if there is like a physical component to that, of the actual connection that I feel to my chest now. But I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain because like I said, like it's kind of like a detachment, but it's kind of not. It's kind of like the opposite of that. So I don't really know how to explain it, and I don't really know how it factors in, but I do feel like that's maybe some kind of component of it. So I don't know. But anyway, has been like a really weird feeling and like a really weird experience to go so quickly from like feeling super modest and not wanting anybody to like see the smallest part of my chest, like even this part of my chest, to just being like, here I am, like totally topless and putting it on the internet. And like, I don't know, it's just really weird that it happened that fast, but I'm glad that it did, because it's like, it's kind of a neat feeling to not feel like I hate how I look and that I like feel really embarrassed and like shameful about it, because that wasn't a good feeling to have about my body. But yeah, I think, kind of like, I kind of alluded to this before, but like the stuff that I have like become more comfortable sharing on the internet in the last year has grown so much, and it has really helped me feel more comfortable with myself and feel more okay being vulnerable. Like, not to get on like a whole nother tangent, because I know this is already a pretty long video, but when I first started making videos, and like for the first several months that I was making videos, I would not make a video if I didn't have like totally like foundation on my entire face, and like I had to like look really good, and I like, even before I started making videos, like one of the reasons that it took me so long to start making videos was because I felt so self-conscious about how I looked, and I thought I was ugly and thought I was just like gross looking. And like now I'm just like taking videos of myself like after top surgery, and like having all these bandages and like drains, and like I don't know, it's just really strange to get to this point relatively quickly. Like a year isn't super short, but it's not super long. I don't know, it's just really weird to feel this good about myself and like this okay with myself. And I think a lot of that is because I've been inspired by so many other people who have done the same thing and who have like been vulnerable and been like okay with sharing parts of themselves. So thank you to all the people who came before me who like paved the way for me to feel okay about that. But yeah, hopefully that answers everybody's questions. Obviously, if you have any other questions about this or anything else, you can leave a comment below or send me a message or comment on Instagram or Facebook or wherever it is that you follow me. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to see more of my future content. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.